No, I don't think so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the match reaction for Arsenal's 4-1 victory over Rapid Vienna. To be fair, it's a game we expect to win. I mean, if you don't get out of that group, then definitely Ateta would be out. And I have African Gunnar with me. How are you?
I'm doing well, Glenn. Thanks for having me on, and I'm glad that I could come on in a game that we scored 1 goals and obviously 2 going as group winners. And as you said, it's expected, right? This is a farmers league for us. If we can't beat teams like this, then there's some serious issues. So no, I'm glad that we got the win tonight.
Yeah, it's a good win. The lineup was very strong, surprisingly, but that I think is because the likes of Lacazette are playing in the league, and the likes of people like Pepe are suspended in the league. So, like, I wanted to ask, like, going into the next round before we get into the actual game, going into the next round, which teams are you hoping for to see? Which teams are you hoping for? Do you want a tough draw? Do you want an easy draw?
No, why would I want a tough draw, man? We know how we are. We can beat any team and we can lose against any team. So,
Yeah.
I take the easiest draw all the way to the final. I don't even care what other fans say. At this point, as Arsenal fans, we can't be too righteous. We can't be too demanding, spoiled, whatever it is. If we get cheap teams, and cheap, I mean by like lesser teams until the end, until the semifinals, finals, I ain't crying. Look at how we went out last year against Olympiacos. That's not a strong team, and we got knocked out. So, easiest draw as possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you don't want like a Madrid or United if they, okay, of course you can't get United, but like a Real Madrid. You think you'll get smashed up?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I don't think we're good enough. I think that we are lacking creative players. That's not only in the league. And you know what I mean? You're not going to play Emile Smith-Rowe. Joe Willock, for me, frankly, it's not good enough, to be playing. He's good enough to be playing in the Europa League. But when it comes down to the more serious games, like the knockout games, I mean, these kids need to go back on the bench. The only ones I would start is Saka and maybe Martinelli. Those are the only 2 kids that I'd start in the team in the knockout stages.
How about Balogun? Have you been impressed with the last few minutes today and the other day?
Yeah, I have been quite impressed. I think he's better than Eddie Nketiah, to be honest. He seems like a better all-round player, and he looks like a better finisher. I mean, even today, I know he missed a chance in the last few minutes, but I've never seen Nketiah try to score a goal like that. So you can see that he's more technically gifted. He's just a different player, and he looks hungry. My number 1 favorite youngster is Martinelli. I think Martinelli trumps both of those guys, but I want to see Balogun get a little bit more game time. The next game that we have, the last game, we don't need anything from it. Let him play the whole game. Let him play the whole game. There's no reason he shouldn't be playing the whole game.
Yeah, so today we headed up into the Rapid Vienna game after a bad loss against Wolves. So were you happy with the starting lineup?
Yeah, I was. I did want to see Emile Smith-Rowe play from the start, but I'm glad that he got about 30 to 40 minutes, which was good. I think it was a strong lineup. I was surprised to see Pablo Mari, but he played really well today, actually. I mean, he scored. So that's 2 of our defenders, our center backs that can score from corners, Gabriel and Pablo Mari, which we haven't seen since Koscielny and Mertesacker, right? So it's good to have those type of players in the team because, our midfield can't score goals. So, if our defenders can pitch in at this point, we really, we can't be too upset about that. So no, I was really happy with the starting 11. To see Maitland-Niles in the midfield, I think. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he played well? I feel like he was okay.
I think he did. I was actually very surprised that he played 90 minutes. I didn't expect him to play 90 minutes. He was the surprise in the lineup. When I was checking the lineup, I saw Pablo Mari. I was like, oh, well. And I think in the next few weeks, after he recovers completely, I think he'll be in the first team. I think Ateta will go back to a back 5 and we'll be playing Pablo Mari, him and Luis, because the back 4 hasn't worked for us the times we've played it. So I'm expecting him to be back. And he played very well, also captained the team, as you said. I don't know. We had like 4-6 captains today. Like that shows you like literally anyone can just get the captaincy armband today. So we'll go to the lineup. What did you make of the lineup?
Just a quick one on that. So yeah, we had 3 different captains, right? And this guy's played only 3 games for Arsenal and he got the captain's armband. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that at all. There's so many players on there that could have gotten it before him, and the fact that he gets it is just embarrassing, man. Emile Smith-Rowe, like all these guys have been playing for Arsenal way longer than him. Why did he get it? I don't understand. I need an answer for that. Like they need to ask in the press conference why he was selected as the 3rd captain. That makes no sense whatsoever.
I would have
No,
given the legend. I would have given the legend Kolasinac. He is the legend at
nah,
Arsenal. He should be getting the captaincy armband. So, do you think Aubameyang is a good captain for Arsenal? Or do you think we just gave him because he scored a couple of goals for us?
no, I think he's our best player, but I don't think he's our captain. You can be the best player in the team and not have a captain's leadership skills. So, for example, I think last game when we were playing against Wolves, we were quite passive, to be honest. And as a captain, he needs to be the one who's trying to get everyone to show up. He's the captain. He needs to get shout. Not doesn't have to necessarily be shout, but he needs to be aggressive and say, "Listen up, we need to
Yeah.
pick up our game," and he needs to do more running. Right? Look at Sanchez. Sanchez was never had the captain's armband. And look at how he played, man. He played like a real captain. And we have no one in our team. And I'm not saying you should get rid of him as the captain. You've given it to him and that's it. But I mean, other players also need to start stepping up because, he doesn't have those captain leadership skills. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Kozi, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. This is African Guna. So we have 3 African countries represented. That's magnificent. Let's go. So I was just asking you about the game. Let's get to the match review. What did you make of we are talking about captains. Do you think Pablo Mari should be given the captaincy? African Guna says no.
Pablo Mari, captain. I haven't seen any big qualities in him, like you'd say, he's fit for the armband. Like you'd say, Gabriel, he has that commanding language. He has that, something special that, he holds over the other players that, in the team is, quite talented. He plays a big role. There isn't anything that would push me to give Pablo Mari my armband. No, he's not so much of talking on that pitch. He's a good player, but as a captain, I think you would have credited him more. It would be like giving Harry Maguire becoming the captain of Arsenal. I would never agree.
Awesome.
So on that point, I disagree with that. I think he has the captain, captain leadership skills. I just think that it's only been 3 games. That's why I'm like, why is he getting it? Like, if it was like a year in, like next season, and he got it, I'd be like, okay, cool, whatever. But because he's only played 3 games for Arsenal and he gets it in his 4th game, like that's what bothers me. Not that he doesn't have the leadership capabilities. It's that the fact that he's barely played for Arsenal. And he gets it just like that. When they're players who's been there for 3 years.
Lee African, I think a player who's a player who deserves, a player who deserves to be captain. For me, we haven't seen Gabriel for so much, but if you are giving Gabriel captain next year, I'll totally agree. I think he has that commanding language. He has the commands. Pablo Mari. I don't see that in him. I just don't see that in him.
Awesome.
Fair.
So
maybe you'd have another captain in like Granit Xhaka.
No. Sorry, no. Don't even start me on that.
you'd actually think. You'd think he's the captain. He actually has that captaincy material, but just because he doesn't perform on the pitch, that's because.
No, let me say something on that point, right? You guys saying that he has a captain material. This guy fouls players consistently. He gives away penalties. That's not captain material, man. Come on.
No, that's why I'm saying, like, in terms of speaking and shouting, he has it, but in terms of playing on the pitch, he won't show it, like, because he'll foul people, he'll give away the ball. So
and shout at players. That shouldn't be criteria to be a captain of a team, man. At least for me.
Yeah.
That isn't the quality that I want.
Okay, so last question for you. Who do you think should be Arsenal captain from the current squad?
From the current squad, I would say either Tierney or Gabriel. Really, those are the only 2. And I think we were talking specifically about this game because there was 3 captains, right? But in general, after Aubameyang, I think Lacazette's definitely vice captain. Beyond that, if I got to choose, it would be Kieran Tierney, 100% captain.
Awesome, man. Let's get into the match review. Kozi, I'll start with you. What did you make of the starting lineup? I'll put it on screen.
His starting lineup was fine. I didn't have any problems with it because I even expected more youngsters to feature in this, in this game. It's a kind of game you're preparing for Spurs. You've already won the group stage, and you've gone through. So I expected more youngsters. I expected Smith Rowe to start. I expected to see Balogun starting instead of Alexander Lacazette. I expected Pepe to start because he's literally not able to play in the Premier League. So I expected him to offer that experience to the young lads, but I was surprised when I saw Lacazette. I was like, okay, why are you playing Lacazette? Maybe for issues of confidence, maybe for issues of trying to get him to go back to goal scoring ways, and that goal is scored pretty get served. The fact that he was on the pitch for a purpose, not just because he was available for selection, but I think he came out on the pitch for a purpose. I just wanted to see how we were going to play in this game. I just wanted to see how good we could be, when we are playing without pressure. No pressure that you're 14th in the league. No pressure that you might not qualify if you don't get a point, if you don't win. We are absolutely free from pressure. I wanted to see whether Mikel Arteta can show us that he has a brand of football, because that is what defines you as a team. That's what defines you as a manager. If you don't have a brand of football, you're literally not a manager. You're literally not a club, and this has been costing us for some time. People say we are playing defensive football, but are we really even playing defensive football? We don't have a brand of football. We don't have a style of play. But today, I think his lineup was okay, but it just confirmed to me that you can't rely on Mikel Arteta every single game. I expected us to play some kind of football that would define who we are, but still, there wasn't anything. Pepe was brilliant. Lacazette was brilliant. Mohamed Elneny came back, and I think because it was Rapid Vienna, he had that bossy, gaze in the midfield, which was okay. But was there, an identity on the pitch? Was there something you could identify Arsenal with, that Arsenal is playing this, and this is something you're going to see in the next game and the next game, or something that we have seen in the past games? I don't think so. But his lineup was okay. I had no problems with it. Whoever he chose, I wanted to see good football. I was just fed up of seeing Arsenal sit back and being attacked by Rapid Vienna, Molde, Burnley, Leicester City. I was just sick and tired of that. I was waiting for good football, and I should say 50-60% have been satisfied.
Awesome. What about you, African Guna? Starting lineup, what did you make of it? Any surprises?
Yeah, no, I kind of disagree with him. For me, I don't know why you're expecting to see certain things. First of all, we're playing our B team. We're not even playing our A team, right? And our B team is not even a team that plays together. I mean, look, Pablo Mari hasn't even played. Callum Chambers hasn't played. These guys haven't been in the system, and whether they haven't been training for months and stuff. So there isn't really a system. But you could see today that they were playing with more open flow. We were attacking. We were making passes and transitions that we don't ever see in the Premier League. Some of those, interplay that we were seeing today, we haven't been seeing that for months. So I was quite happy today. I think that he, as you said, there wasn't much expectation. We know we're better than these guys. Let's not forget, these guys are garbage, man. We should be winning this game easy 4-5-0, right? So, the reason he plays Lacazette and stuff is because he hasn't scored since September. This is a game he should be scoring a hat-trick. And today, you could see he really wanted to play, right? You could tell, even from the last week in the Europa League to today, that Lacazette had a point to prove today. And yeah, his goal was phenomenal. I think that it's good moving into the weekend because he's scored. I think just scoring in general and the team scoring 4 goals, it shows to the world that we can score goals. We can play open football if we have the right mentality, the right players, right? And the way that starts is by building confidence. And you only build confidence by killing the teams that you're supposed to be killing. Let's get it right. These lesser teams in the Premier League are better than the opponents we're playing in the Europa League. It's still, it's still a different level, right? So for me, I was happy, to be quite honest. I mean, Kolasinac was a given that he was going to play. You're not going to risk Tierney. Mustafi doesn't get into the Premier League squad. He's garbage. So I'm happy that he stays in the Europa League. Cedric also not getting into the team over Bellerin, which I think he should get a shout now because Bellerin hasn't been playing that well. So that's also a given. Elneny, he's been out with the coronavirus issue, so he needs some game time. The only surprise was Maitland-Niles playing in the midfield. Pepe with the red card, you knew he was going to start. Lacazette needs game time. You knew he was going to start. Nelson also doesn't start in the Premier League. You knew he was going to start. And Nketiah as well. you knew he was going to start. So this was kind of a given lineup apart from the Maitland-Niles for me and the Pablo Mari.
That was good. That was gonna be my next question actually. So you can just take it from there. I was gonna ask, did anyone like prove to you like they need to start in the Premier League from that lineup?
Yes, I think. Well, El Neni didn't have a great game, but I think because we're so thin in midfield, man, there's no choice but to play him. Really, I mean, I choose him over Xhaka any day. I think Lacazette might have a shout now because he scored a goal to come back in and play on Sunday. Whether he plays as a 10 or as a striker, because definitely I've seen Aubameyang in the last 2 games hasn't done much up front, so he might be pushed back onto the left wing. We've seen the goals that Lacazette has scored against Tottenham. He scores against Tottenham almost every single time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see him start. And maybe Nelson might get a shout on the right wing because Willian will play, or sorry, on the left wing because Willian will play. Oh, actually, sorry, Saka will play. So yeah, no, I don't even see Nelson starting. But he had a good game for me today.
How about you, Kazi? Anyone
that's it. The rest stay on the bench. The rest stay out of the team and the bench.
They should be out of the team, let alone the bench. What about you, Kazi? Did anyone deserve a Premier League spot after this game?
For me, even in my pre-match, video, I was saying, I don't know why Bellerin is still, getting 10 out of 10 appearances in the Premier League right now. Cedric has, kept it. I know he's not pushing enough, and that's the reason as why my character maybe he's not considering him in the Premier League. But I think he needs to start getting some, some time. He needs to show, the 2 players that you're competing for one position. He doesn't need to show, Cedric that you're playing in the Europa League and Bellerin is playing the Premier League because, that doesn't improve us anymore. I think I would go with Cedric. He, I can't say yet, he has had this brilliant game because actually he started so well, and in some bits of the game, he just disappeared as if he was tired and he teleported himself out of the game. But I'll take out Cedric. I'll take Cedric. Against Spurs. I'll drop Bellerin. I think he's a double-edged sword, that liability up front and backward. Going forward, he puts some chances, but those chances are just not enough. There are times when you think he's going to deliver and he just doesn't deliver. And defensive-wise, every team is targeting him. They know that Bellerin is the defensive liability in Arsenal's, in Arsenal's squad. Of course, they know we are improving day in, day out, defensive-wise. So they're going to look at the loophole. They're going to look at the liability. And that's always been Bellerin. So I'm keeping out Bellerin. I'll go with Cedric. Like I said, Ceballos and Granit Xhaka. I'm choosing Mohamed Elneny over both of them. Mohamed, if you told me to go with Mohamed Elneny and Nigerian, I'll play both of them in my midfield and leave Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. The things we have seen Dani Ceballos do, and the things we have been seeing Granit Xhaka do over the past years, they are not changing. I don't know why we brought him back, Ceballos. I think he was so good in his last 5 games at Arsenal, but we forgot that he was totally never a good player, for the biggest part of the season. But because we were impressed, with his, last, FA Cup games and so on, so, we decided to bring him back. We were happy and so on. But it was a mistake.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason. The reason is because we're cheap. The reason is because we're cheap, and we're not gonna go spend 20-30 million to buy an actual midfielder to replace him. So we took the easy option. He wanted to come back, and we loaned him back. That's Arsenal for you, man.
But it is easy to see that this was a big mistake. You can't rely on him coming from the bench. You can't rely on him when he started. Literally ask myself,
disagree. Look at him, how he played in the last 20 minutes. Are you telling me that wasn't his best performance?
No. What kind of impact does he create? Leave alone having the ball running in spaces and so on. What kind of impact does he create? Does he add to the team as a person? Sebastian is a high ball.
He asks for the ball. He drives
the ball.
He makes passes that other players cannot make passes. Like, for example, that pass to Pepe outside of the foot through ball. None of our other midfielders can make those passes.
Lee African, those are not consistent games. He doesn't do that consistently.
Agreed.
Yeah. And that's what I've said, that maybe we brought him back because of the last 5 games, because he played an inconsistent season and gives us this, piece of, good football in the last, in the last bit of his stay at the club. And finally, there you go. We bring him back. So anyway, the point is, I'll take El Neni. I'll take El Neni back, and I'm really happy that Mikel Arteta gave him some game time. Lacazette, I don't know. I don't know whether we need to change position of Lacazette so that he stops being the target man or so on. He was playing so well today, getting that ball from deep down in the midfield, carrying it forward, taking it for Pepe, taking it for Reece Nelson, trying from afar. I was really, really impressed with him. I was impressed with him. But there are times when you think he needs to deliver and he's not delivering. I've already said this. He has never given me a season ever since he signed from Lyon, and I'm like, he is the player that Arsenal is relying on this season. I don't remember. Do you remember it, Glenn or Lee, one season like this when we've been relying on Lacazette?
No, but
I don't think so.
We're not meant to rely on him. He's not. And also, I think Arsenal have killed him. He's not the same player that he was at Lyon, man. Arsenal has been lacking creativity for so many years that this guy comes and drops, man. He's playing a CDM. Our striker is playing a CDM. So what do you expect? And then he has no more confidence. And then look at the players around him. Look at Aubameyang and the way he's playing. It's the same thing for me. These guys understand that the rest of the players are quite garbage. And after 10 games of playing like that, you just get tired as a player to do the runs because they aren't finding you, to just work hard because you think that your team is shit, really. And look at Van Persie, look at Nasri, Fabregas. The list goes on and on and on of the players who have found themselves in this situation. So I don't blame him. I don't think he's the answer, but at the same time, I don't blame him. I think Arsenal have killed him as a player.
Okay.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Baljog says, thank you for even in the comment, Baljog. Thank you, Monkey Sweetie, for your super chat. She says, happy with today's result. I wish Arsenal can continue this way, hopefully. Gunalona, Cookie, Mr. BK, Relentless Guna, Lewis, the WTT Graham. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I wanted to touch on that comment. Recently, you're praising Dani Ceballos, which is true, because during the transfer window, after a month of the transfer window, I was looking at our midfield and we literally only had Xhaka. Elneny wasn't even back. We only had Xhaka in the mid, and Willock. So I was very worried, who are we going to get? Literally, our midfield was looking very short. And I was thinking we have 4 competitions to battle in. Of course, we hadn't heard about Partey at that time. Our was still unsure. So I was actually one of those people who are crying for Ceballos to come back, just because, yeah, you're right that Arsenal only never splash cash and they go for the cheaper options. But since we knew they were not going to splash cash, I was like, just bring him back because he's been very good in the last 10 games. So yeah, you're right. We're actually hoping that he comes back. We are praising him. I still think, he can give those passes that African Guna is talking about, and I think he's one of our best creators anyway. Maybe that's because everyone else is so terrible. That's why he's looking very bad. But anyway.
But Glenn, he's one of our best creators. Statistically, what has he done to show that he's one? I know he's technically gifted. If you're telling me that he's one of the most technically gifted players at Arsenal, I will agree. He has the gifts, he has the talent. But putting them down on the pitch, I don't see what he's doing. I just can't. There is no evidence to back him up.
Yeah, my point is, did you see? I agree with you. I think in the last few games, he's been really bad. But today, when he came on, he showed what he can do for me. The game that he played today in the second half, in the last 20 minutes, is how he was playing in the FA Cup games in the last 5 games. We're talking about last season. You can see he can do. For example, he comes, he collects the ball. Elneny can do that, but once Elneny gets it, he makes a pass. Ceballos can dribble, Elneny cannot dribble. Ceballos can dribble, and he can find passes that Elneny cannot find regularly. And even he took a shot today at the end of the game when the fans were saying shoot, and that wasn't a bad shot. You don't see any of our midfielders shooting, right? So he has some qualities that our other players don't have. It's just not consistent enough. And yes, we were playing a lesser team, which is why he was more confident to do what he was doing today, right? And that's the same with Pepe. Look at Pepe, the way he plays today and the way he plays against Premier League teams. It's very different, right? So.
Awesome. Cozy, I wanted to ask you, for the game now, we were 2-0 ahead by the first 20 minutes. Do you think that is the best first half we've played this season?
Best first half we played this season. It was so brilliant. I wouldn't say yes, but it was so brilliant. It can make you forget all the games you've played. But let me tell you something. It was goalless against Manchester United. It was goalless. But we had a super game. We had a super first half. They tried to do whatever they did in the second half, but we had a super game in them. We never allowed them to catch that ball. We never allowed them, they were a big team. We were away from home. We never allowed them to pass. We never allowed them to run. They were literally in prison, but in their own, in their own prison. And, it's like, you come and kidnap someone in their own home. So, I still feel that Manchester United performance, and I thought that could be our brand of football. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see that day in, day out. I thought that was going to be our brand of football. And if Miklatsa can, make that our brand of football, I'm just going to feel like, he needs more time. I think against Manchester United, that should have been, for me, it's my biggest first half performance. They looked like they were not ready, but we were.
Go ahead, African Gunner.
Yeah, I was going to say that's delusional, man. You're expecting Arteta to play Pep Guardiola ball when Pep Guardiola spent 400 million. I mean, he spent 200 million just on defenders. We're never going to be that team. And, that might take us 3 to 4 years to even get there. And that's only if the board actually back him and buy the players that he wants. Until then, the reason we're playing so defensively is because Arteta knows we've got crap players, man. We've got crap players that can't do anything. So what we do, we sit back and we expect our best front three players, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Willian, to come up with some magic. And unfortunately, these guys are not all-round players. Aubameyang is a good goal scorer. He's not a world-class player. He's a world-class goal scorer. He can score any goal, but if you had to ask him to make assists, to pass, to dribble people, he's not a Harry Kane that can do everything, or a Son. And I use these Tottenham players because they're really good all-round players. Even Lucas Moura, they can do everything. They can score, they can dribble, they can pass, interplay. Aubameyang can't do that. So Arteta understands that he doesn't have the team. And he recently just came out and said, listen, our midfield hasn't been scoring for 4 or 5 years. I can't train them to score goals. That's just not the players that I have. So, we're never going to be playing like Pep Guardiola. I don't expect that because you're going to get hurt if you have that expectation.
I actually agree with you because I normally don't blame Arteta for starting with such negative style of play because I know you're not good enough. But the problem, what I'd say is, the moment we concede a goal, it looks like we don't have a plan B. Everyone starts looking at each other like, oh wow, we conceded. How do we score our own goal now? Like we go 2-0 behind and we have no ideas.
But Glenn, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was going to say the reason why is because we don't have someone like Bruno Fernandes. We don't have someone like Alexis Sanchez. We don't have someone who can take the ball, turn around, drive, start dribbling players and get players to come and force them to come get the ball from him, right? That pulls players out of positions and that creates space for our other players. We don't have a single player who can do that for us. And Thomas Partey isn't the player to do that for us. And even Ozil is not the player to do that for us. So we're missing that player to do that, right? Without that player, we can't do anything, man.
Yeah, so
I just want to ask Lee, if you compare our squad with that of Leeds, who has better quality?
It's tough. We always, Arsenal has always had flary players, but the championship teams and the lower league teams, they have professionals. We don't have professionals. We have spoiled brats. We have players that think too much of themselves. They don't do the basics right. I mean, Bellerin can't even make a throw in. You're telling me any championship player will ever, you don't even see that in the championship. So, it's tough to answer have better player than Leeds, but Leeds players play with 110% commitment. They'll break their leg for the team. Arsenal players will never break their legs for the team. That's the difference.
Yeah. So sorry, because we have to get into the player ratings, or else we'll be here for 4 hours. Thank you, though. So let's get into the player ratings. Of course, the Europa League allows 5 subs, so we had a total of 16 players playing. I'll start with the African Gunner. Run us on today. What did you make his performance? What did you give him out of 10?
Should I go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right, I'm giving him a 7. I think that he's good. I like him. This guy was cheap, 1.2 million. I think he's a better distributor than Leno. If you see every time he gets the ball, he's trying to put us on the attack straight away. Remember the goal that Aston Villa scored against us when Emi Martinez just launched the ball straight to Grealish, scored? He gives me that vibe. He wants to start play quite early. You see the way he gets the ball and he chips it, he pings it. It's like he's like an outfield player. I don't get that feeling with Leno, right? Leno is a better shot stopper. I think this Runnerson guy is a better all-round keeper. So I like him, 7. I want to see him play against better teams and see what he can do.
Oh wow, cause the African Gunner's already seen enough of Runnerson. Have you seen enough?
No, I haven't seen enough. He has but his performance is not bad, by the way. His performance is not bad. I saw him today in that goal we scored. He was trying, he has that fighting spirit that I want in a goalkeeper. He reminds me of goalkeepers like Wojciech Szczesny when he had just joined Arsenal, or not joined, but when I first saw him, professionally in Arsenal's goal, he was trying whatever he could to keep that ball, from crossing his line. And I was like, okay, he could be a real goalkeeper, man. But I haven't seen him, being tested this much. Like, African Gunner said, we haven't seen him, being tested this much. And you're like, in this game, he has made this, supersonic saves. These are his reflexes. These are his what and so on. But I just love the fact that he's very, calm on the ball. When, if defenders are feeling, the pressure, they can rely on him. And, he's not just going to pump it forward and then you lose possession. He's going to look around. I just love, anything about him. Of course, please don't compare him to Ban Leno. Leno has better reflexes than him. Leno is a big shot stopper. But today,
we haven't seen him tested enough. So I agree with you for now. But once we see him in action and make those, then we might be like, wake up, like Martinez, and be like, holy crap, who is this guy?
Okay,
I hear you.
Today, what did you give him?
Today, overall, because of the overall performance, I'll go with a 7.5.
Yeah, Boljok asks if we win the Europa League, will we qualify for the Champions League? Yes, but for me, I don't even think we are ready for the Champions League, man. There's no need of going there and facing Bayern and conceding 20 goals in 2 games. I still think we need to buy players, but yeah, to answer the question, we'll qualify.
We need it for the money, and we needed to attract players. Yes, we're going to get killed. We're not going to make it, but that's the only 2 reasons we need it. And also as a fan base, we need to be able to go out and to other fans and be like, we're in the Champions League. That's going to be on our shoulders. Other fans are going to keep saying, you guys are Europa League, merchants. So I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, although wanting and getting there is another story, and we know we're not good enough yet. So, cause you'll start with you, the right back, Cedric.
Cedric, I think the problem I have with him is really manifest, and it manifested today. Inconsistencies within the game. He started so well down that flank, playing with Rhys Nelson, linking up, and Pepe also coming in, occasionally. They were splitting apart, the defense of Rapid Vienna, but there is a way he gets lost. I don't know how, but there is a way he gets lost in a game, and you're like, boom, he's off. Then he comes back, then he's off. And, those performances, of course, they're not really attractive. I demand more from him as a right back. I expect around, if you're playing Rapid Vienna and, you're the right back, we expect almost 5-6 accurate passes, accurate crosses, and you're like, maybe if the striker, got, at the end of it, it should have been a goal or an assist or something. But he didn't look so bad today. Actually, I think his performance was okay. I'll give him a 6.5.
6.5. And what if you're pushed not to give half? So did you give him 6 or 7?
I'll give him a 6.
Awesome. African Gun?
Yeah, I just wanted to answer one of the comments, if you want to pull it up to interact with the chat, from Gunnar Lohner. He says, we have Martinelli and he can do that. My response to that is 100%. We do have Martinelli, but we shouldn't be depending on 18-year-olds to be in our first team and doing the stuff that, our midfield in the first place are supposed to be doing. Xhaka, 35 million, El Neni, whatever. I mean, it just, 100% Martinelli can do that, but we shouldn't be expecting these players to do that. So on that would be my response to that point. And then I can see Sentiment doesn't like Bruno Fernandes, trying to give him a lot of hate, man. I would take Bruno Fernandes at Arsenal any day, man. I'm sorry. I don't look at
I agree.
I
hate him, but I agree.
I watch the game. I don't look at statistics. Statistics can be deceiving, man. I watch the game, and I watch him, and he's a good player. That's all I'll say on that point. And I never mentioned Bakayoko. I don't know why he put that. That guy's trash. Okay, cool. Cedric. So for me, man, I think Cedric needs to get a shout over Bellerin. You know what I like about Cedric is he's a dirty player. He'll get in there and tackle and like be physical, whereas Bellerin does not do that. You know, he's more worried about his nails and his hair than to tackle a player and stuff like that, really. So, you know, he's not the answer. I still think we need better than Cedric, but I think he needs to get a run. By the way, he won't play against Tottenham because we know Bellerin is you know, he's from the academy. He's been playing at Arsenal for a long time. I don't see Cedric playing him over that. But I think after that game, I think Cedric needs to get a shout, and let's see what he can do, because even, you know, the interplay between Cedric and Pepe is much better than between Bellerin and Pepe. And Cedric overlaps a lot, which I like, and his crossing is better than Bellerin. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think that was a great shout. And like, if I had to choose between 6 and 7, I would have also chosen 6. So I agree.
Awesome. The next one, I'll start with you, Gunnar. The legend, Mustafi. What did you give Mustafi? The captain. He actually captained us today.
He was our second captain. Yes, the legend of clowns with Xhaka. Both of them. They're the leaders of that group, and Kolasinac with them. Those three. To be honest, didn't really have much to do, did he? I mean, oh yeah, I remember this specifically. Sometimes I write notes, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the game and I want to remember. He missed the open header, man. That should have been was it 2-0? He missed the open header, man. This guy is trash, man. Get rid of him. You know, I just don't like him. And like, it doesn't matter if he plays well in one game or not. This guy is like disappointing me repeatedly so many times that I cannot forgive. You know, I cannot overlook all like the years of trouble that this guy's caused us. So I'm going to give him a 6. You know, he didn't really have much to do today. I don't know why he came off, to be honest, instead of Pablo Mari. But,
I know.
You know,
I know.
I didn't question it. So 6.
I know why. I think it's being rested for the Premier League game. Unfortunately,
no,
I don't think Luis will be
ready.
No,
Impossible. You know, like
I think we're gonna play a back 5. I know it's gonna hurt all of us, but I actually think he's gonna start that game, unfortunately. Because I saw you're very mad about him missing that chance that he brings up.
Yeah. That's it's a free header. At least get it on target. I'm not saying score. Just get it on target, man. It's a free header. You're a defender. Like, come on, man.
Exactly, like Lee's saying. You know, there are times when you feel like, what is this guy doing? And I was on my live stream. I thought that was a goal, blood. You know, the ball is past everybody. The goalkeeper is beaten. The defenders are beaten. You know, you have the goal for yourself. You just have to head that ball, you know, or back at it and get, you know, across the line. And, you know, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. Was he heading into in the corner or something? Did anyone see what he was doing clearly?
No, just Mustafi doing Mustafi things. Just Mustafi doing Mustafi things. Oh my God. No, nothing new.
But I'm going to change my rating from a 6 to a 5. Yeah, 6 to a 5.
So 5. How about you, Kozi?
I'll give him a 5, but I think it's good news that at the end of his contract, he's going to be walking away.
Yeah.
Well, we're not giving him a new contract. We should have gotten rid of him now this year, anyways, right? But no one is going to buy this clown, so we have to stay with him.
Yeah. Mustafi, I can see 4.5. So. The next one is the defensive partnership. I think this is going to be better. African Gun, I think you're going to give Pablo Mari higher, a positive.
Way higher. And as I said, surprised that he started. You know, listen, this guy has a lot of pressure on him. He played 3 games for Arsenal and we gave him a contract. You know, that's ridiculous. And then you go buy another left-footed center back in Gabriel, right? So it really puts a lot of pressure on this guy to perform. Is he the one who's going to be replacing David Luiz? You know, is he the one who's going to be solid? I don't want to be too harsh on him, but when I watch, I pay attention to everything. And he did get beaten a couple of times. He made a little bit of a small mistake, maybe 1 or 2 times. Not as bad as a Mustafi mistake, but you know, I think I'm giving him a 7. That goal he scored, you know, really good goal. And you could see that every time there was a corner, they were definitely aiming for him. So that's definitely one of his strong suits. I like him. I want to see him more. I want to see him play with Gabriel and see if they can form a good partnership. I'm going to give him a 7. You know, he may start even on Sunday or play a little bit on Sunday in the back 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. I actually thought he gave away the ball a couple of times, but you'd expect that. He's been out for months, so I can excuse him for that. Kozi?
Brilliant performance. I was very impressed. The goal. I mean, I love defenders who do defenders things. Like Mustafi, I mean, he should have done. He scored the harder goal than scored from Mustafi. And
Yeah.
anyway, but I think it was. I think he gives us that reassurance that we have another defender, or on the bench. We have square depth in the defense. If Gabriel is off and Pablo Mari comes on the pitch, I don't think we're going to be in despair. Like if David Louis gets off and Kodran Mustafi walks on, or Kolasinac or something. So I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, I really loved his performance. I'll go with a 7.
I'd actually give him an 8. First game back after such a while back, and it's coming. His first game is already outperforming Holding and already outperforming Mustafi and players like that. I'd actually give him an 8. The next one is Kolasinac, because you can go first on Kolasinac.
Sid Kolasinac, my man. Did he cause? I mean, that goal we conceded.
He blocked 2 shots.
Yeah, the legend himself. He was trying his best.
He blocked 2 shots. Yeah, Yeah.
And his goal, actually, it still went in. So don't forget about that. Forget about it.
I mean, it is not typical of Mustafi to injure his body because someone wants to score against his current employers. Is it?
Yeah.
It isn't.
I mean,
I want to say his performance. He didn't do any left back things. Probably he didn't. Crossing that one he wasn't involved. I mean, he was, but he did the defending, and I think I'll go with a 6.5 for me. I'll go with a 6.5. Let me give him a 6.5 because of that. that kind of.
I mean. He cleared the ball off the line. There's some games he never does anything. At least he did clear the ball off the line. I mean, he went in, yes, but...
You see, Glenn, there are things I expect out of a fullback, in a game. You need to show me that line is yours. Block them from using it, and then you've got to command. You've got to command it. But I don't remember when he did it ever since he signed from Schalke for in a free transfer. I don't see him do that, and he has never done it. He didn't do it today. I don't know whether he was intentionally trying to tell us we should give him another contract by slipping on that line, but there wasn't anything more impressive of him apart from that incident. Surely it was an average performance.
Yeah, just before we get into African Goon, I mean, the goal still went in like he said, but I mean, he cleared on his side and then it went on the other side. I mean, like the other day where he protected Ozil, thank goodness nothing happened to Ozil, but you can't expect him to protect Ozil in that situation. And then if Ozil went home, something happens to him, you say, something still happened to Ozil. No, he did what he had to do right there and then. So what did you give him? You'd give him less than 6.5, it looks like it.
Yeah, 100%. I would give 4.5. He gets an extra 0.5. He gets an extra 0.25 for each block. So he gets total of 5 for me. Man, this guy is absolute trash. He needs to be in prison for stealing a living as a professional football player. Man. This guy is in the wrong sport. They need to send him to the UFC. And I'm not trying to be mean or negative, man. This guy is not good enough for Arsenal. Listen, every time he gets the ball, if there's any player in front of him, what does he do? He turns around and he passes back because he's not good enough. He cannot dribble the player in front of him. He doesn't have any skills. He doesn't have any knowledge. All he knows is sprint and then like kick the ball as hard as he can into the middle and pray that someone is there or it doesn't go out of bounds. And this is not off of one performance. This is Kolasinac over the last 3 years, man. The fact that this guy was player of the year as a left back in Germany, I don't know who he paid. They need to start looking at that and seeing what happened because that's some shady business going on there. I don't know how this guy was left back in the German league. Dude, man, I'm sorry. This guy's just not good enough, even to be playing in the Europa League. I want to see the back of him. Sell him for free. Give me some goats, some cows. I don't care. Get rid of him. Did you
say 5.5?
No, 5. I give 4.5, and I'm giving him a 0.5 for being brave and saving those shots. So yeah, I'm giving him a 5.
I feel like we can do a whole show on Kolasinac.
Man, I can do a whole show on all our clowns, man, because they've disappointed us so many times. So much to talk about them.
Yeah, Kozi El Neni.
Mohamed Elneny is back from COVID-19. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with with that. I'm just imagining life with without Mohamed Elneny and Ceballos is playing with Granit Xhaka, and whenever they're moving on the pitch, you look like one is so tall and the other looks creative, but when they start giving me what they have to give, I want to cry. But Mohamed Elneny chasing around the ball, running through the midfield, working so hard. I love his work rate. And today, I don't know whether because he was fresh, but he was trying to do it. He didn't have the best of games. I don't want to say he had a very good game or something like that, because there are not so many key points you can talk about him. But I think the work rate in that midfield, at times you need to outwork the opponents. You need to outwork them, run the midfield, and whenever you could see we need someone to give the ball and then continue the transition. He was there, linking up play here and there. He was playing with a player who I think is he has taken long without playing in the midfield. He has been playing in the midfield as part of as a right winger, and of course that was way before this season started, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But I think he covered for him so well. I don't think, not too much, not too less. He's back. He's just coming back. So if I gave him a 6.5 like Skodran Mustafi, like Kolasinac, someone is not going to jump onto my back. I think his performances are inconsistent, but if he could have consistent performances, the performance against Manchester United, play that, if he could play like that 5 games, that is, that's the Elneny we want to see.
Look who was playing next to him that game. You can't compare, man. Look who's playing next to him in that game, and look who's playing with him now. There's a huge difference, man. When you play with world-class players, you look better. Look at Thiago Silva in Chelsea and Kurt Zuma. Zuma looks like a crazy defender because he's playing with one of the best defenders ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I think.
What did you give him?
His performance qualifies to take him down to the. What is it going to be? The White Hart Lane, exactly. I'll give him a 6.5.
Wow, I think that could be low, because I think he's one of the first people to have on the team sheet against Tottenham, because against Wolves, Xhaka and Ceballos were terrible, and with Dombele and Højbjerg, their midfield is very strong and powerful. I think we'll get dominated. We have to have Elneny in there, so we can see El Piero, El Pate, all that. African Guna, do you agree with him having a good performance today?
No, I'll give you a little bit of background. I've never rated Elneny. I never thought he was good enough for Arsenal. When he came back, I wasn't happy, but I'll be honest in my reflection. I think the first 5 games that he played, or more even, the first games that he played were really, really good. I think today was his worst from those. Not saying that it was bad, but I'm saying that you could see kind of the old Elneny. I mean, he got a yellow card. He just wasn't doing enough for me. And I do think that is also because of the partnerships that he's playing with. He wasn't playing with Partey. He isn't playing with strong players. I definitely think 100% he should be starting on the weekend. But for me today, wasn't his best game. I'm going to give him a 6. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think, you guys give him 6 and 6.5. I can see 7s. I can see 7.5. So maybe 6.5 there, fair. The next one is going to be Niles. I thought Niles was brilliant. You need a midfielder who can pick the ball up and run past people, and he did that twice, and I was very impressed. He even got the assist for Smith Rowe. African Gun, I'll start with you. What did you make of his performance in midfield?
I would give him a 7, but I'm knocking down a point because he tried to chip the keeper instead of scoring like a normal player and not being a show-off. We're 2-0 up. You don't score many goals for Arsenal. You're getting a chance to play for the first team in midfield, where you're crying every week that that's the position that you want to play. Don't try and chip the keeper, man. You do brilliantly. You dribble. You're 1-on-1 with the keeper, and then you're trying to be nonchalant and try to chip the guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That is disgusting. That is disgusting, and you should be benched the next game. As much as I love him, as much as I think he had a really good game, just that one moment really turned me off. So I'm going to give him a 6. He cannot be doing that. And that reminds me of the old Maitland-Niles, just playing with a chip on his shoulder, thinks that he's Ronaldo. No, man, score all the goals that you get. Every opportunity, put it in the back of the net. Just blast that in. I don't know. That's the way I see it, man. I was really disappointed. That's an easy goal, for him and for us.
playing with the chip on his shoulder, literally tried the chip. So, Cozy, do you think he was wrong for that, or do you think he should have just he was right for doing that?
He's not growing any younger. That's one of the things we have to know. He's not growing any younger. So I don't know whether he looks young, but he's no longer an Eddie Nketiah. He's not a Smith Rowe. So you expect professional, mature, performance from him. Like African Gunnar said, there was a chance that you should score, go to the flag and celebrate, or don't celebrate. You can choose whatever you want to do with the celebration, but don't choose don't choose to do wrong with the chance. It was brilliantly set up by him, by himself. The finishing is worse. So bad.
Do you think he's trying to do the way he does the penalties, showing off as he's says?
I don't know. But I don't know whether he's trying to, do anything of the sort.
He's trying to chip the keeper, man. I promise you, he's trying to chip the keeper there.
Yeah, he was
amazing play. And you want to put the ice on the cake.
Yeah, and they said it. Why do you go if you feel like you're in an angle where just in front of the defender, and maybe you may be hard. You have two players in front of you that could, that have an opportunity to, to make it an empty net. Do that. Your midfield, you're gonna get more points if you set up, a goal scoring opportunity than if you, smash it wide. But I think the chance is set for Emile Smith Rowe. That was good. Yeah. I'll give him a 1.5, for that extra mark. The way he set him up, he looked like Ozil. Like, you're first in this side, you're getting this ball, but this guy is already in the middle, and you just look out for him. He is there, and he taps it home. That was brilliant. Nice eye. In a position where I'm not really used to play, for him to play, and I think it has taken so many games. He has not been playing there. He's been playing, out on the right. We are used to him playing, as a right back. He plays with Mohamed El Neni. None of them is quality, so you don't expect the quality of Mohamed El Neni to, raise the quality of Ainsley, and of course Ainsley is not going to raise El Neni. I thought, he did well, dribbling, past the midfielders, take that ball to them. I think this is one thing I've been talking, always. Why don't we have a person who can drive that ball towards their box, towards the opponent's box? One person who can, drive that ball. At least let us play near their box. But we're playing always. If it's not the center arc, we are pushing it back, back to our box. And I really love Ainsley for that. If we can have a player who can always push that ball to the opponent's feet, near their box, let them make a mistake, or try to make them make a mistake. Yeah, brilliant performance, but I'm taking
actually
a 0.5 away. I'll give him for me. I'll give him a 7.
I actually agree with African Gunnar. You need to know how many times you're going to show off, because after some time, some people will turn on you if you try things all the time with penalties and showing off all that. But I think today he was okay in midfield. He can get a chance there again, maybe soon. Yeah.
Imagine if that was the only chance of the game.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, he had two chances, right? So the first one he tried to chip, and then the second one he shot it straight at the keeper. He should have done better, right? And then the one that he passed Emile Smith Rowe, I don't want to take credit away from him, but it's on his left foot. He's not going to shoot with his left foot, which is why he cut it back. But he should have done that in the first chance as well, even though it was on his right foot. They had two players on the left. It would have been the same goal as the third goal. And then the other point in regards to what Glenn is saying, he hasn't been playing. This is not like he's been scoring, 3-4 games that he can take. He doesn't have credit in the bank with the fans to be able to do something like that. He hasn't been playing. He gets an opportunity and you do that. I'm sure Mikel Arteta is going to be upset and tell him that, that's not okay. I mean, at least if I was the manager, that's what I would do.
Yeah, the next one is going to be Pepe. I'll start with the African Gunnar. I thought he was brilliant today. I don't know if you agree.
No, I disagree, man. I disagree. Unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
Look, this is an African brother. I want him to do really well for Arsenal, But this guy dribbles too much, man. He reminds me of like a young Ronaldo, He just wants to do, step over, do all this crazy shit. But he's not actually doing anything. He's doing all this fancy stuff. He's not making anything effective. I think he tried too much today, dribbled too much. I think last week he was better than this week. Last week you could see he had a point to prove. Not saying that it was a bad game, but I just want more from him. This guy is 72 million 72 million. You know how many, incredible world-class players we could have bought with that money, So there's a lot of pressure on him, man. People say don't look at the money, but for a team like Arsenal that are so cheap and we can't spend this type of money on players, when you actually do spend it on a player, you're hoping that he's going to be one of the best in your team, man. And this guy's, playing against Europa League guys, and he can't even, I don't want to say he can't even score, but I mean, I'm going to give him a 7. I think he had a good performance. I just want more from him, I think sometimes he tries too hard. He makes things too complicated, like he does one dribble too much. Just shoot the ball, man. Like, I don't understand why you want to dribble it into the nets. You have the quality. We've seen you score top bins.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of frustration with him. 7.
Sentiment says Pepe 7. Relentless Gunner says Pepe was involved a lot, though. I think he was involved. Even though pass for Niles is the one who gave Niles the pass. Pepe was so brilliant at least. I think I don't know if it's the quality of the opposition, but I think he's done well in the Europa League, because the Europa League, why doesn't he do that well in the Premier League?
Different quality of players.
Yeah, I asked the same question on my stream, and we answered it so well. I think Pepe has ability. Pepe is a good player. Pepe, we might say that 72 million was a waste, but how about Real Madrid? How much they invest in Eden Hazard?
No. Listen, we're not Real Madrid, man. We don't have that money that Real Madrid have to. This is a 1 in 10 year signing. We're never going to spend 72 million again.
Yeah, African Gunnar, I do understand. We are not Real Madrid. We are not Barcelona. We are not Bayern. And our money is our money. It is hard-earned money. It's a peasant money. It is the taxpayers' money. You can call it whatever you want. And yeah, but for me, I still believe in Pepe, and I've already said this on my streams. I still believe Pepe is a player that needs some unlocking. There are times, I think that's why he's having hiccups of performances. He's totally down in this game, and the next game he's so brilliant. You can't say that it is you might say it is the quality of players in the Europa League, but how many Arsenal players are having such good performances as Pepe that that show you that the performance or the quality of the opponent is so low? So that means his quality is
Nketiah, Lacazette. You want more? All these players that are close to the first team, man, they should be killing these teams because they're shitty teams, man. Pepe should be scoring every single game in the Europa League until the knockout stage.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I say Pepe is a good player. I don't take his Europa League, performances to be the Hail Marys of performances. I can't say he's good in the Europa League. I think he needs to do more. If you are scoring hat tricks in the Europa League, I would say his form is outrageous and so on, but he's not. I think Arsenal fans have a tendency of overpraising one thing that a player does. You remember, I think it was in the Nations Cup when Granit Xhaka had this, I don't know, it was
long
screamer. You remember at Switzerland?
Yeah.
Arsenal fans were all over social media. We have the Andrea Pirlo that has never played football. We have the Switzerland Andrea Pirlo. And I was like, for Christ's sake, but I don't know. He always gets involved in the Europa League. Premier League is something different. But
just touch on this point that Relentless Gunnar says, don't forget he played on the left. Do you think the left is the best position for him?
I just want to see him play that free roll across the pitch. Let him play as a number 10. Let him play on the wing. On the right. Let him play on the left throughout the game. I think that's where he actualizes his potential. But if you lock him on the left and things are not working out, he's just going to die out. If you lock him on the right and things are not going well, he's going to die out. But if you let him play, along that line, let him play whatever kind of football he wants to play. I think he's another Alexis Sanchez. These are kind of players that want to be wherever they want to be on the pitch at whatever time. And that's why, for me, I think Alexis could never work at Manchester United. They're giving him perimeters. You're working in this space and so on. I think Pepe is that kind of player. If he was under Arsene Wenger and he was replacing Alexis Sanchez, I think he would have been shining by now. Players that want to be playing their kind of thing, their kind of style, their kind of They want to be all over the place, have the ball, 1 touch, 2 touches, 7 touches, 9 touches. I think that is Pepe. But he was, his involvement was good. You can give him a 7 today.
There's a question for you.
You
African
want. First
Gunner.
of all, you can compare this guy to Sanchez, man. Sanchez is on a whole different level to Pepe, man. Pepe is raw. We can see he has talent. He's very left-footed. He cannot do anything with his right foot. He consistently wants to nutmeg people, even if there's no reason to nutmeg. He's gonna go for it. You can see when I watch him, I see him. Yeah, it reminds me kind of a younger player of myself. And especially Africans, we love to dribble people. That's part of our culture. That's the style of football we play here in Africa. If you can dribble and chibobo someone, the whole crowd goes wild. But you're playing in a professional league. It's not the same thing, right? So he needs to get individual training one-on-one to be able to start, ironing these things out of the game. And also in the Premier League, he gets double teamed, right? In the Europa, he doesn't get double teamed.
Why I have the audacity to compare him to Alex Sanchez? You look at Sanchez at Udinese. He's this kind of brilliant player. And same as Pepe at Lille, he goes out at Barcelona. He's doing his things, and he's kind of player. This kind of player that wants to do his thing. Use this space, and they're like, at Barcelona, he just can't do this. He comes to us. He gets the space. He does. He does these things. Trust me, if Pepe gets the space, if he can just get that, rhythm. Give him the space, give him the authority to do whatever he wants. He's that kind of player. For me, I can compare him to Alex Sanchez, not in quality, not in what they're going to give the club, but the style of play. What do they require? They're not players that work in small spaces like Anthony Martial or they're players that work in big spaces. Let him carve that ball when he's just entering the the 18-yard box. Let him I think they're that type of player. They work with space. I just mean the requirements, not how good or comparing their requirements.
Can I answer that? So I hear your point. Sanchez could play with both feet. Sanchez, you could give him the ball at the halfway line. He'd dribble the entire team and he'd score. I've never seen Pepe do that. He's not as fast as we think he is. I've never seen him dribble, past the player. He'll dribble and then he comes back. He doesn't dribble you, beat you, and then go one-on-one with the keeper. I don't see him do that. So he has a long way to go, man. A long way to go. But I hear you. If he gets more freedom, then he'll be better.
Yeah, I know. If you look at this, the Sheffield United goal, you still remember the Sheffield United winner.
Yeah, top left corner.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1. The African, the Sheffield United goal. Those are the kind of goals we are going to see from Pepe. We're not going to see Pepe twisting and turning and then shooting at the goalkeeper, because those small spaces are just not favorable for him.
Fair enough, but that goal he scored, that's one in how many games that he's had. Okay, he scored maybe 3 of those goals, and how many games has he had, right? If that's his thing, and if that's the only thing he can do, defenders know that's the only thing that he can do. Everyone knows he can only play with his left foot. If I'm a defender, I'm making sure he doesn't cut in to shoot. So he's never going to be able to do that, because Premier League players are smart enough and they do training and they watch videos to know that he's going to do that, which is why he's getting double teamed, which is why he's not being as effective as we would like him to be. And this is all hypothetical. We can see a different Pepe hopefully in the next few months, but I'm being a realistic fan. What I see right now is not worth 72 million. If we were to sell him right now, he's probably worth 30-40 million.
Take the question in the chat, African Gun.
Yeah, so he's saying is he being left out to dry? I think maybe I do think if we get a creative player, maybe that unlocks Pepe, as Cos was saying, maybe we need that player to unlock. We need to put, and I think that's not only with Pepe, I think that's also with Aubameyang, right? Aubameyang is a player that wants to run onto the ball, be one-on-one with the keeper. He's not the one who's trying to cross a ball, man. Like, I cannot believe that I'm seeing Aubameyang as a winger who's trying to cross the ball into no one in the box. Eddie and Nketiah in the box, and no one even running in from behind. So yes, at a certain point, I do agree that he's being left out to dry because we're not really helping him. We don't have the players to help him. But at the same time, as I said, I expect him to take the ball and make something happen. He doesn't do that enough for me to be considered a world-class player that costs 72 million.
Yeah, I agree, Relentless Guna and African Guna. I definitely agree. Like Sanchez, for me, actually Sanchez could easily, if I was to sit down and to write like the top 10 Arsenal players in the Premier League era, he could
100%.
easily be 11th or 10th because literally you used to win away games for us, like away to Stoke, away to Leicester, away to West Ham. He used to single-handedly win those games. So the final one before going to like Nelson, he also says Salah is also one-footed. What do you make of that, African Gun?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say Salah is one-footed because he scores with both feet and he's faster than Pepe. He's a better football brain than Pepe does. You know, he's more physical than Pepe. He's adapted to the league, and he's also playing with much better players than Pepe is. I mean, look who he's playing with. He's playing with Mane, who I would take any day. Firmino. Just their team is much better. When your team in every single position is made up of world star players, it's gonna make your job way easier. They're gonna put the ball, on a plate for you to score. So. Salah is top 5 players in the Premier League for me, really, right now, I would say.
Did you give Pepe a 7?
Yeah, I gave Pepe a 7. I was fair. I think he had a good game. I just expect more from him.
You gave him a 7?
Yeah. We both gave him 7.
Awesome. The next one is Nelson, because he started Nelson. The thing I'd say Nelson before I even go, those set pieces really annoy me. When him and Willian always take those free kicks and corners and hit the first man every single game, that annoys me. So what did you give him for today? Cozy?
Yeah, you see, there are things I look at and I'm like, if a player is doing whatever, the basics, I can live with them. Reece Nelson is a talented player. When he's when he has the ball, when he is he is on the pitch, there is this kind of feeling you have as a fan. He's entertaining, but he is not doing the basics. Crossing the ball, crossing the ball, for Christ's sake. That ball. You cross the ball, it just can't skip the first defender, like you said, Glenn. The free kicks, I don't know why he takes the free kicks when Pepe is in the team. When you have players like Willian, when you have whatever player, even if it was Ainsley, I don't know why Reece Nelson takes. Maybe he has to improve on that, but he's a good player. I love his involvement. I really love his involvement in the game. When you have such players that can one, involve the game, and two, they try to create things by themselves. I think you're moving forward. He was unlucky. The goalkeeper stripped that ball off his feet. If he was a little bit more clever or something, he should have maybe laid off an assist, or maybe scored by himself. But his game, his goal, his involvement in the game was is good. But the problem, all of us can agree on this panel, is however good you are as a player, if you cannot fulfill the basics of football, you don't count. And everybody knows this. If there are players that are very good at scoring. They don't do anything else. They don't dribble. They have the worst fast touch, but they do the basics of football. They can score. They can cross. They can head. They can bring in a cross. They can bring in a corner. It is at Arsenal where a right back throws the ball and the referee says, we're taking the throw because you took it badly. Basics of football. These are basics of football. I don't know whether we are not teaching them anymore to our kids or something, but apart from that, his game involvement is okay. He's good, but he needs to work on his output. It's just the difference he has with Bukayo Saka. Saka might be very bad at scoring. When he's in a one-on-one, or he has a goal scoring opportunity on the header, he's just going to slash it wide or something. But Saka can set up. Saka can set up a Aubameyang. Saka can set up someone who's going to set up an assist. He has done that this season. He has been doing that in the opening games of the season, and you think that's the difference Bukayo Saka has with Reece Nelson. But both of them should be at the same level. Reece Nelson is a good player. You can see his work. He's hardworking. He has a fighting spirit. He's not lazy. You just don't. You can't bully him off the ball like these small youngsters. But the output, that's the problem. What's your final product? His final product is still very, very poor. So let's go with a 6.5.
Awesome. African Gunner?
Yeah, hit some good points. I've always thought that Nelson wasn't good enough for Arsenal. I think that this season specifically, he's picked it up a bit, one level higher. I agree, his decision making and end product is not good enough. I don't think he's ever
Mhm.
going to be an Arsenal first teamer, in my opinion. And then, that's sad, but it's reality, man. It's the reality. He needs to either go for another loan or we need to sell him and buy someone who's going to be able to provide us more. I think, you cannot be teaching these guys the basics, man. I'm sorry. You cannot be making it to the Arsenal Academy if you don't know basics. They don't train. They don't. They don't work in training on throw-ins and stuff. That's embarrassing. Imagine you saw in a training video them working on that stuff. It's not Sunday league football and stuff like that. So, Nelson, I like that he drives. I like that he tries. He plays with his, heart in his mouth. He'll give 100%, but unfortunately, he's just not good enough. Europa League is definitely his, his level for me. And if that's your level, you shouldn't be playing for Arsenal. I want the best of the best, right? And unfortunately, I don't think in the next 5 years he's going to be a starter for Arsenal. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. I think Iwobi was better than Nelson, to be quite honest. So I'm giving him a 6. Yeah, I think yeah. At some point he needs to leave. Not now, maybe because we have so much other crap that we need to fix first. But in the next 2-3 years, I think sell him for 20-30 million and let him go have a successful career somewhere else in Germany or you know what I mean. He's not going to be a top Premier League player. For whichever team. It doesn't matter what team. So yeah, no, man, I wish him the best of luck. But for me, not good enough for Arsenal.
Wait, did we do Lacazette? Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah, so you can start with that Lacazette today.
All right. I give Lacazette 8 man of the match. I think today was his best performance this season. I think that you could tell that he had something to prove today. I think that earlier in the podcast I was mentioning that he plays as a CDM, and you really saw that today when he was playing in the 10, he was showing those qualities of his link-up play. The 1-2 touches, the way he can get fouls because he's a smart player. He always gets there. Even the penalties that he gets, he touches the ball right before the defender gets there, and then he gets swept out or taken out. And that's a quality that he has. He's able to draw in fouls, which I really enjoy. He was able to do that 3 or 4 times today. So I'm giving him an 8 man of the match. I'm so glad he scored, and that wasn't a goal he's supposed to score. I think he was just like, let me just shoot this and see what happens. And we need to see that more often in our team. We need players to be taking on these shots because, and this is something historically with Arsenal. We try to walk the ball into the goal. That's been something that we've had under Wenger, right? And now we don't even take shots, period. I even said on a different podcast, I'm so desperate that I'm even wishing that Xhaka shoots from long range. That's how bad it is that I want Xhaka to shoot from long range because we cannot, create enough to score. We don't have transition. We don't have creative players. That now we need players to just shoot from anywhere, man. Let's see what can happen. And that's exactly what happened with Lacazette. He took a shot. He took a chance. Bang, goal. So brilliant. 8.
Just yes or no. We'll come back to the squad later. Just need a yes or no. Would you start him against Tottenham? No explanation. Just yes or no.
Yes.
Cozy,
Yes.
what did you give Lacazette?
Lacazette, my man of the match still. I think he did whatever he was doing, and I don't know whether he was possessed, but if he's possessed, let him, keep being possessed at least until the Tottenham game, and then the spirit can leave him. We shall be very, very grateful. He has the quality that we have not mind. If there is that gold in him that we never mind, and I really agree with the African Ghana. You just find that we have made him play so deep and forget, make him forget that he's a striker and his responsibility is to score us some goals. But today he was so brilliant. He was so brilliant. I don't know. I've taken so long without seeing him play like this. I think, was it against Liverpool? Was it we lost 3-1, but he scored? Was it against Liverpool? I think in that performance
he scored and he missed chances.
He scored the first goal.
No, not this season. Not this season.
Last season.
I think.
Again. When Alisson made the mistake.
We were winning 1-0 and then they came back 3-1.
Around the goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah. When he took it back, yeah. That was 2 seasons ago.
Exactly. That is when that's the season I last saw Lacazette, and I'm like, this is the player we signed. So there is that, there's a lot of potential that's going to go, wasted, just like the players like Mario Götze and the players, they are talented. They have the ability to deliver, but they have not delivered on the scene of football. And probably I do not know why. But today he was so brilliant. I'll give him an 8.5. I'll just give him an 8.5. The goal he scored was so brilliant. I've taken long without seeing. Did we last see a long range shooter? Now, okay, you'd think about Aubameyang's goal against Aston Villa last season, that free kick.
Maybe. But that is kind of like because he has to, because it is the free kick point anyway. But like taking the shot when you don't have to.
Okay. Then you have Nicola Pepe's, goal against Brighton still last season.
Yeah. Also, Lacazette against Tottenham last season. But so you give him 8.5.
Exactly. You need to see that more often. We need to see that more often. Players hitting the woodwork. Trying wherever you can to hit the target. But instead we try wherever we can not to hit the target. So Aubameyang today, I don't know whether he can keep up the performance, but he was brilliant. You can give him an 8.5. Man of the match, captain of the day, captain fantastic, Europa League, Europa League player of week 5. Whatever you can call him.
Awesome. The next one is going to be Nketiah. Just a quick rating on him and anything you want to say, African Gunner?
Yeah, sorry. I know that we're going a bit over time. It's actually almost 1:30 in the morning for me, and I have work tomorrow. But I wanted to. I saw a comment from David, and I wanted to answer it. He says, strongly disagree on selling Nelson. He hasn't played consistently enough to make that conclusion. I disagree with that completely. He's been playing for 2 years. And I'm just going to ask you one question, David. Martinelli hasn't played consistently, but would you ever think about selling Martinelli? That just tells you everything you need to know about the other younger players. And for me, 100%, if you can't even compare him to Martinelli, sell him. Sell or loan him. You can tell there's a difference. Martinelli hasn't had as many games as him, but you can tell that he's going to be a superstar in the making. So I just wanted to address that point. In terms of Nketiah, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Good goal. He's a poacher. He missed that other sitter that Pepe put for him. I also think he's not good enough for Arsenal. I also think he's never going to be a starter for us in the next 5 years. I would also look to loan him or sell him. Unfortunately, I'm quite ruthless, man. It's not that I don't like young players, but if I don't see enough, man, listen, I'm not here to wait 5 years to see a player develop and become a superstar. If it's someone like Martinelli, who you can and Saka, who you can see with your eyes that these guys are really good players, then yes. But the rest for me, and maybe even Emile Smith-Rowe, I'd give him a little bit more of a chance. But the rest I would get rid of.
What did you give him, Kazi?
You see, the goal was a real striker goal. Don't trust until you score. Don't trust until it's behind the line at the back of the net. I know he's kind of different from a Maroon Chamak who hit it first time. A Bentner who hit it first time. It goes it goes in the hands of the goalkeeper, and Bentner is already touching his head. So yeah, maybe I'll give him credit for the goal, but he missed so many chances.
But they're different type of players as well. Yeah, those guys are lanky header. Like their strength is to head the ball in. Eddie is more of an all-round player. He can run. Look at the way he closed down the goalkeeper to block that. You never see Bentner or Shamak do that, right? So, but I hear you.
Every time I hear the name Bentner Shamak, I just get sick. So, Kozi, just a quick rating on him. What did you give him?
Eddie Nketiah with a goal. Let me give him a 7. But he needs to take those chances. Those chances.
Let's go to the bench. Willian came on with Sebastian Smith-Rowe. African Gunner. Willian, 30 minutes. Did he impress you?
6.5. Didn't get into the game enough for me. I like that he took a shot at the end. I want him to take more shots because I think that when he scores, we'll see the best of Willian. I think right now he's on gear 3, and I want him to get to gear 4 and gear 5. And I think the only way that happens is, one, we get a creative midfielder that opens up the pressure on all our forward players to dribble and drive, because our midfield will be able to bring them the ball in the final third. Right now, our wingers are the one who are coming to get the ball and then do the driving for us. So I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think he had enough time to really do anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
What did you give Ceballos?
You're still asking me. I'm giving Ceballos a
Yeah.
7. I'm giving him a 7. I think this is the best match he's played so far this season. I don't agree with Cause. I mean, today you could see what he brings to the team, man. That pass he made to Pepe outside of the foot in between two players, no one in our team can make that pass. Not even Pepe is making those type of passes. And, you can see he has an eye. He has an eye for certain passes, like a kind of a Fabregas type vibe or a Cazorla vibe that our other players don't have. I'm not saying he's the same quality, but at least he has it and he can try it. He can think about it. His brain allows him to think about those passes, whereas El Neni, it doesn't come up in his head to think about making that type of pass. So I'm going to give him a 7. I really like it today.
Is it the only guy who can make that? What about that other guy, Smith Rowe?
Yeah.
Came into at the same time.
So I think Smith Rowe is a bit younger, and I think he's a different player than Ceballos. But I still need to. We haven't seen him in a long time. He's been injured for quite a while. I think he needs to start the next game, and a 10, and he could be one of the answers for us. We're talking about Lacazette being the answer. Smith Rowe might be the answer. We need to give him a chance. So, and he's one of the better youngsters that I think will definitely be pivotal in our team. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 6.5. He scored. That's all you can ask for.
Cozy, Smith Rowe, William, Ceballos, you have 1 minute to talk about them.
Only Smith Rowe. I think the fact that comes on and scores, we've been crying for him. I'm one of the people who really like him. I think I'm not sure. I don't want to overrate him, but he's a good player and he needs more playing time. If Mikel Arteta trusts him, slowly by slowly in the Europa League, probably we have ourselves another player who can maybe come from the bench and changing things. So a 6.5. Willian, I think we are trying to, he tried to, do the Lacazette thing, prove a point. I'll give him a 6. That is a bias for me. Okay, I'll give him a 6, but I'm not really I'm not really a fan of Danny Ceballos. I'll just give him a 6.
Awesome. African
Can I add something to that, Cozy? I'm also not a super fan of Ceballos, right? But the reason I'm saying that he did have a good game today, but I see things that our other players can bring to us. And when we are lacking so many of those players, aka Guendouzi would have been similar to Ceballos. He could do everything Ceballos does, but because we have no one else, I'm depending on this guy to bring something to our team that no one else can. So I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's a superstar, but he brings things that other players can't bring. And then I wanted to answer David's point. Yeah, you said you would have sold Vardy before he peaked. You would have blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, as Arsenal fans, we've been patient for 16 years. At this time and moment, we don't have time to wait for players to become good. If we sell them, they become good after, so be it. I'm not patient. I want ready-made players right now. They're going to come into the team. You spend 72 million. They're going to start every single week, and you know what you're going to get from them. That's my approach. And I only feel that way because we have been seeing so many crap and average players over so many years that now I don't have the patience to wait for these youngsters to become superstars and give them chances. I want ready-made players that are going to win us games. That's all that matters. Whether we're defensive, it doesn't matter. I don't care if we play 11 men behind the ball. If we're winning, if my team is winning, I don't give a crap. I just want my team to win at whatever cost. That's the way I am as a fan.
What did you give Chambers? Were you happy to see him back?
I'm going to give him a standard 5. He didn't have much time, barely touched the ball and stuff. So I wouldn't think it's fair enough to give him a proper rating. I'm happy to see him back, but definitely need to see him play a little bit more before we can really say anything about him.
Cozy Chambers?
Let me wait for him in the next performance. I'm just going to give him an average 5 because he came on.
The next one is Balogun, but he wasn't on for that long, so standard 5. I'll start with the African Guna. Arteta today?
7, but I don't really know if it's because of him or because of the team we were playing. You know what I mean? I don't think it mattered which team he picked. I think we would have still won this game. That is the difference between the quality of the two teams. I think also playing at home with the fans, you could tell the team was more up for it because of the fans being there. It shouldn't be that way, but naturally as humans, when there's a crowd cheering for you and you haven't been playing in front of fans for 9 months, you're going to have more adrenaline in the game. And you could see that in the first half why we scored 3 goals, right? You could see we were going for their throats. And I love that. And that's how we should be playing every single game, from the start. So I'm going to give him a 7. I think the real test is on Sunday. Really, I think if we lose on Sunday, the Arteta train really picks up some steam, and I think that things can go really bad from here if we lose the next game, because I don't see us winning in the next 5 games, more than one game. So we might be in the relegation zone before the transfer window opens, and it's going to be really bad. So I'm hoping this gives us impetus to pick up our performance on the weekend, and I think we're going to lose 2-0 against Spurs on the weekend. That's my opinion.
Kazi?
Mikel Arteta, I'll give him an 8. I think he has been absolutely spot on in the Europa League. Done whatever he's supposed to do. Rested players when he needed to rest them. There are times when I thought that we need to bring in our second team, and he was spot on. For example, in the Rapid Vienna, that Rapid Vienna game away from home, he brought in those players, and I was like, okay, he saw it, he foresaw it. So even today, I didn't feel much of Mikel Arteta's hand, but I felt like there were some instructions. I felt like there were, he was giving these guys a challenge. It's like he gave these guys a challenge, go out there, but have this in mind. And the players were really playing with something, something like a challenge. It's like they were playing for who is going to play against Tottenham. That was the mindset. And I've just read some of the bits in his press conference saying that he wants to put up the same performance against Spurs. I don't know whether that's possible, but I'll give him an 8, and I'll jump him on Sunday when we go back on the official judgment days of the Premier League.
Awesome.
Sorry, again, one thing I wanted to mention is I like that he subbed early today. 50th minute, that's when he should, in the recent games, he's been taking way too long. I mean, bringing on Lacazette for the last 10 minutes. Come on, man. So today he was good with his subs as well. So I was happy with that.
So there's a question from Zip Dow again. No explanation, just sell, loan, or keep. He asks African Guna, Nketiah, sell, loan, or keep?
Sell.
Kazi, sell, loan, or keep?
What did I say?
No explanation. Nketiah, sell, loan, or keep?
My audio.
We can hear you.
Sell, keep, or loan Eddie Nketiah. Sell, keep, or loan Eddie Nketiah.
Sell or loan Eddie Nketiah.
Or keep him if you want.
I don't see
no explanation. No explanation. Just sell, loan, or keep.
Okay. Loan.
Awesome. We need to talk about the game that's on Sunday. So I'll start with the African Guna. You have 3 minutes to tell me what you're expecting from the game, what your starting lineup would be, and your prediction. 3 minutes, go.
Cool. So I think that firstly, my starting 11 would be our best players. I think some of them we don't really have much of a choice, in terms of goalkeeper. Going to be Leno. Right wing back, it's going to be Bellerin. I don't think it should be, but I know it will be. I think we're going to play a back three. So let me go with David Luiz, Gabriel, and Kieran Tierney as our back three. We're going to play Maitland-Niles or Saka as left wing back, and we're going to play Bellerin as right wing back. Then we're going to play Xhaka and Elneny. It's going to happen. Xhaka's going to be in there for some reason. I don't know why, but he will be. There's really no one else. And then I think we're going to have Willian, Aubameyang, and Saka up front. So I'm going to put Maitland-Niles as the left wing back, and I'm going to play Saka as the left winger. I think that's the team that we're going to start with. I think we're going to get rolled over. It's going to be either 2-0 or 3-1. We're going to lose this game. And Mourinho always gets it over us. He has this voodoo and this power over Arsenal, consistently over the many, many years. I don't think it matters who the manager is. I think he's just a ruthless manager, and he expects better from his team. He trains his team really well. And let's be honest, it's hard to admit, but Spurs are a better team than us right now. Their squad is so much better than ours. Look at their front three. Even if, Harry Kane is out, they still have Bale. And I think Bale is going to score against Arsenal. It's written in the stars that he will, So, yeah, that's my prediction. I think we're going to lose, unfortunately. But at least if we win, if we lose, my heart won't be broken because I'm expecting to lose. Whereas if I think we're going to win and then we lose, it's going to be a disaster. So I think it's smart of me to go in with no expectations, and you should as well, because if it does go sour, you're going to be sleeping on Sunday night with a tissue box in your bed.
Awesome. Cozy, same expectations for the game lineup and prediction, 3 minutes.
Tottenham Hotspur Arsenal. Predicted lineup. My thoughts on the game. My God, what should I say? We have a very good record against Tottenham Hotspur. Everybody's singing about that. That it will be typical of Arsenal to go out and beat Tottenham Hotspur, and then we go back and lose against Burnley at home. All those things have been said, but I think it's gonna be down to Mikel Arteta, like it was down to him against Manchester United. Everybody expected us to lose to Manchester United. Everybody expected us to be beaten, bantered by Manchester United. It was the different case. United never came at the Old Trafford. So I really won't be, I won't be surprised if Mikel Arteta beats Jose Mourinho at the White Hart Lane this weekend. I won't be very surprised. Spurs are easy to beat. By the way, I'm telling you this is by fact. The problem is that we cannot score. But Spurs is easy to beat. How do you beat them? They are running. They want to run. Don't give them the chance to run. Don't give them, don't give their midfield a chance to give those, through balls to Son, Ken, and a Bergwijn or Belt run. You literally have handcuffed them. But if you give them a chance to run, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to contain them, especially if you have players like Heki Bellerin that are really a deficiency, and you have possibilities of playing Skodran Mustafi. It's going to be a hard game for us, very hard game, decisive. It's a game we have to win. That is to save a season, not even to save a season, but trust me, how many games have we gone without winning? There's so many, and there isn't any hope apart from Burnley. We have Southampton, Everton, Chelsea coming up. These are games we have to win. We didn't win the games we had to win, so we have to win the games that look so hard. The lineup that I want to see, let him play 5 defenders. I have given him the permit because I've always gone him against him playing 5 defenders, but this time let him play the 5 defenders. I want to see Cedric. I want to see Gabriel Magalhaes. I want to see Rob Holding. Let him keep that partnership. And you said Kiantian is out.
No, why would he be?
Then let him play Kiantiani.
Please don't say that. Please don't say that. I can't have Kolasinac and Mustafi against Tottenham, please. Go ahead, midfield.
I know. So, but let him play Kiantiani, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Rob Holding as the back 3. Then let Cedric Soares for the first time. Let him get a chance. Play on the right. On the left, let Ainsley Maitland-Niles try to get a chance there. So. Deep down in the midfield, I know it's going to be a lot of problems, but let Granit Xhaka and Denis Ceballos wait for the Europa League game against Dundalk. Let them do that. Let him try to use El Neni. I would be very comfortable if he tries to use Mohamed El Neni. Yeah, I'd be very comfortable. And who else now? Who else?
There's no one. That's why Xhaka will play. There's no one else. There's no one else.
Bring back Ramsey for the North London derby.
Okay, but at least I wouldn't play Joe Willock. I'm going with again. I have no option. I'll go with I'll go with I'll go with
Ceballos. Sorry, I changed mine to El Neni Ceballos.
I'll go with Ceballos. Play him with partner Ceballos with Mohamed El Neni.
Front anyway. Front 3. I know it's at front 3.
Front 3. I don't think it's going to be any change, but I want Aubameyang to play down through the middle. I want Lacazette to play on either wing. Not as a winger, but to give me what he has been giving us today. I wish I wish he can do that. Because I don't expect Spurs to have too much possession. Jose Mourinho.
They will. They're going to dominate the entire game, man. We're going to be sitting back, all men behind the ball, and we're going to try and counter. That's how we're going to play. It's the only way we can.
I know. But front 3, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Bukayo Saka. I'm leaving up Willian.
Awesome.
Willian will play, man. Watch. He brings experience. He brings things that no one else can, and Pepe isn't there. So we only have him and Saka really as our wingers. Because I think, as you said, Aubameyang will probably start. I don't see him getting dropped. And Lacazette played today, right?
last
He might be coming on as a super sub.
Okay, I know Cozy and African Guna, you can tell they're very passionate. We could be here for 3 hours, so I had to cut them up. So last question for you, just quickly, I'll start with the African Guna. I saw a question here. Ask the panel who you're going to play right wing back.
Yeah, I already said. I agree with Kosti. I think that I would want to see Cedric play, but because it's a North London derby, I don't see how Bellerin doesn't start because he's more of an Arsenal player, you know what I mean, than Cedric. Like he's grown up being an Arsenal player. So I feel like this is a game you can't take away from him, and this is the game that he will, try hard. It shouldn't be that way, but I mean it will be that way. He should be playing hard every single game, but because it's Tottenham, I'm expecting him to raise his performance. So I see him playing, and right wing back. Who did I say? I mean, right wing back would technically be Willian because he'll play as a right wing. That's how I'm seeing it.
And then
There
right
is no
back
right
Bellerin, okay.
The right wing back is going to be Bellerin, and right wing is going to be Willian. I'm not playing a right back. I'm playing a 3 at the back.
Cozy, you'd have Cedric.
Yeah, I would love to have Cedric and then keep Bellerin out of my squad for now.
I actually agree with African Guna. I don't know. I actually don't agree with that. I'm not sure Cedric can handle Son. Not that Bellerin can handle him, but I'll also take the United game into account. He played very well the last away game against United when we won. So I'm hoping he does the same thing here.
And
So you said
but United don't have a quality winger as Son. They don't have one.
Rashford,
yeah, but I rather have
but
Bellerin than Cedric for Tottenham, definitely. Prediction, you said you'll lose 2-0 African Guna or 3-1?
Yeah, 2-0 or 3-1. Oba might score, but we'll still lose.
Cozy?
Spurs 2, Arsenal 1.
Oh man, people are not confident. Let me know in the chat your prediction for the game, your prediction for the game, your prediction for the game.
You're stupid to be confident to go into that game, man. You're just allowing yourself to get hurt. You know those games when it's
definitely not confident. Yeah,
crying, with a tear like falling in your eye. You can't turn off the TV. You have to continue watching, but like you don't want to, and it just hurts, and you just see your worst enemy outplaying you. Keeping the ball, we won't be able to touch the ball. It's gonna be like that. Trust me. Well, you'll see.
Who will score for us, Aubameyang, Cozy?
Lacazette.
I was going to.
You think Lacazette will score? Wow.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to score in this game. I'm hoping he does well. I'm hoping Aubameyang scores very soon. So, thank you guys for coming on. This was supposed to be 1 hour, but I appreciate African Guna coming with great points with Cozy. Where can they follow you, Cozy?
It is just Cozy's Arsenal Podcast. YouTube, Cozy's Arsenal Podcast. Instagram, Cozy's Arsenal Podcast. Facebook, Cozy's Arsenal Podcast. Twitter, Cozy's Arsenal Podcast.
Awesome. Okay. Where else? African Guna. I know you said you're not on YouTube, Twitter, yeah?
Yeah, no, you can find me on Twitter at African Gunner. I think I'm like 4 followers away from 5K. So yeah, it'd be nice if I could get there in the next couple of days. And yeah, I'm usually on a bunch of other podcasts as well, so I'm sure you'll see me around.
Awesome, man. So I can see 1-1 in the chat. I can see 3-2. I agree with 1-1. I think I know if you can go know what you're saying. I know it's just being hopeful, but obviously you can't predict a loss. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you everyone in the chat. Sunday, Tottenham against Arsenal. I'll have the previews later on today. We got a 4-1 victory over Rapid Vienna, and this was the match reaction and the player ratings. Thank you to African Guna and Cozy for coming on. Actually, for all of us, it's already past midnight. So have yourself a good night. If you're just waking up, have yourself a good day. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.
All right, blood.